natural selection. One of the key things about it is there are adaptations in animals and how they fit their environment. These are some evidence we use to look at natural selection, because these are the things that are being impacted. So there are structural adaptations, physical changes to the animal that affect the way that they work with their environment. So one of the big examples of that is mimicry. Mimicry is this ability of one animal to copy the pattern of another animal permanently. It's not like it just did it temporarily, like you see some things like the cuttlefish, which can do camouflage and change its colors and patterns and even shapes of its body. This is something that's permanent, so it looks like something else to gain an advantage. Over time, it has built up enough adaptations that it became advantageous to look like something else to get a benefit. There are two types. Mullerian, which is named from Muller. Two harmful species copy each other to gain a benefit. So a bee and a hornet related have similar coloration patterns. The advantage of that is those warning patterns of yellow and black. When one animal happens to try to attack a bee and gets stung, it's going to realize after a while that's a bad thing. So when it starts seeing that color, it's going to therefore avoid all those animals that have that color pattern. So both these two may lose individual members to animals trying to find out the pattern and learn the pattern, but once they learn the pattern, less of them die because they don't have to learn a new pattern each time. They've learned one pattern means bad, leave it alone. The other, Batesian, named for Bates, is a non-harmful species, copies a harmful one. So in this case, the fly. Around here, people call them sweat bees. They're not sweat bees, they're actually a fly. They bite you, they don't sting you. That's why they bite on your body. They're actually a type of fly that has mimicked a bee. Why? Because animals realize bees are bad and they try to leave them alone. They see a pattern and they ignore it. They are gaining a benefit by sneakily looking like something they're not. So therefore they get that benefit. Around here is also the viceroy monarch butterflies. Monarch butterflies, actually, their larvae eat milkweed, which is a toxin in it, so they become toxic to animals that try to eat them. So animals try to eat them, they get sick. Viceroys look very similar, but are not toxic, and so therefore they gain an advantage to that. Camouflage is also used, again, lots of animals camouflage. Some are much more advanced than others. Cuttlefish are probably the kings of camouflage. They can do so much different changes of body shape, colors. They can change it rapidly. Chameleons do it primarily, not really for camouflage, they do it primarily for mood, to express mood, to express kind of the way that they're talking back and forth with each other using body coloration. But camouflage, things like tigers. Tiger stripes are designed to blend into grasslands. Things like sharks, lighter on the bottom, darker on the top. So when you're below them looking up, it's a light color matching the sky. If you're above them looking down, it's dark matching the bottom. So that's why they have that pattern. A lot of fish do that. There's physiological adaptations. So we can adjust the way our physiology works. Good examples around here are things like the superbacteria, the superbugs in hospitals, where some of them become immune to our antibiotics. Why? Because as you've exposed them to antibiotics, the ones that have certain mutations have driven the population to become more successful at that. Same thing happens with plants. People spray for plants trying to kill them. Each year they have to come up with new herbicides to try to kill off more and more resistant plants that can, basically the herbicide doesn't work on them anymore. That's the reason why we have to keep kind of coming up with these new things. Along this line, you get things like even behavioral adaptations for some things. People say that the fact that we've killed so many spiders, when people can see spiders, we killed them, we've actually evolved spiders to become more secretive. Because for every spider you kill, that means their genes were less successful because they were more willing to go out and where you were. That means the spiders that are sneakier and better at hiding survive because they're going to pass their genes on, the ability to be sneakier than the other ones. So bacterial antibiotic resistance is part of this. Obviously in the news quite a bit, even today, the fact that people have things like MRSA and stuff like that, they're highly resistant to bacteria, or highly resistant to antibiotics. So they come up with brand new antibiotics. They're trying older antibiotics that they thought wouldn't work anymore. They're trying to see how they are. Insect and weed resistance to pesticides. Those are commonly an issue for farmers around here especially. So up here you see some examples. Camouflage right here. You see the frog has a stripe down the side which matches like the light color on the plant. Up here you have a bee and a fly. That's a fly. It has a similar pattern, but you notice the wings are different. If you look up close, you'll notice they're different, but from far, their patterns match. Up here, you have a lot of insects, a lot of patterns of these flowers, you have insects which will hide in the flower patterns, like spiders, which have designed their bodies to look like the flowers, so they can pounce on the flies as they come up to flies and bees as they come up to the flowers. Here's the antibiotic resistance. As you have a population, you produce an antibiotic. The ones that survived the population now all of a sudden produce a higher amount of resistant bacteria, so the population has shifted because we have introduced a restricting factor, and that is adaptation.